You're listening to REIA Radio, the nationally trusted name in real estate investing. We dig deep to discover investors' why in real estate. If you want to skip all the BS and get in investors' heads, you're in the right spot. Be one of the thousands to check out REIARadio.com.
My coach, he looked at me point blank and he asked me a simple question, and the question floored me. It shouldn't have, but it floored me. He said, Byron, is your environment supporting your goals? And it's a simple question, but like I'd say, it floored me because he asked it to me so matter-of-factly as if it was staring me in the face, and I'm the only one who couldn't see it. Is your environment supporting your goals?
Welcome to another night of the Omaha REIA, where we try to keep it real, and tonight is absolutely no exception. Our speaker tonight is someone I first met in the little Bohemian district. How many years ago was that? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, yeah. So we're both checking out investment property. I don't remember if you were checking out for yourself or it was for you, right? And we both walked through this property, and it was like one of those, like, the price was right, and we really wanted to love it, and we're like, how the hell did they lay this thing out? It was like kitchen up here in the back, bedrooms here, living room in between the bed. I don't know. It was the weirdest layout I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, it's like I knew who you were, but I didn't know who you were. And then we just end up talking for probably an hour and a half in this property. And we're like, and we literally like, hey, how about we just do this together? Because we have no idea how this would become something. And I'm like, I don't know, man. He was sharp. He had all types of right questions. I was thinking the exact same thing. And we're like, there's nowhere to go with this. There was nowhere to go with it unless he completely gutted it and the price would not make sense. But Byron Thompson is the co-owner of the Meraki Realty Group. He has built one of the top performing teams in the city, but tonight's not about sales volume or branding. It's about the journey, the grind, and the moments where everything outside looks great, but inside you're running on fumes. So tonight's talk is called Beyond the Grind, Keys to Survive, the Burnout Traps of a Seven-Figure Real Estate Business. Byron's here to walk through what it really takes to grow something big without losing himself in the process. And while he's been busy building a business and leading teams, he's also been celebrating a really big moment in his personal life. He just got engaged like last week to his fiancée Taylor. Big round of applause. So yeah, it's been a big season for you, hasn't it, huh? Yeah. And whether you're just getting started or really, kind of deep in this chaos, but you're trying to build something, this is going to be the talk for you. And I feel like that's what I need right now. So without any further ado, can we give a loud, welcoming applause to Byron Thompson?
You're too good to me, Ted. All right. I'm super pumped for this. You guys heard Ted. I spend a lot of my time in the traditional residential real estate space, teaching real estate agents how to make their business work better. So I'm really excited to have a little bit different audience. Just so I'm kind of clear on what this audience looks like, show of hands, does anybody have a real estate license in this room? Anybody have a real estate license? A lot more than I thought. Holy moly donut shop. This is good. Okay. Out of curiosity, does anybody have their real estate license just so they can do wholesales now? Because I know the law has changed. Yeah, there he is. All right. Get me on your buyers list. We got to talk after this. All right. I'm going to jump right in. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys heard my name is Byron Thompson. I have 2 superpowers in this world. I'm a human being, but I got 2 superpowers. The first one is I am competitive beyond belief, okay? And the second one is that I truly believe that I can learn absolutely anything in this world. Anything, I believe that I can learn it. And you got to be careful when you have thoughts like that, because before you know it, you're on to the next thing and you'll be all over the place. So those 2 beliefs have taken me in a lot of different directions, especially in my professional career. They've taken me from being a college athlete into aerospace engineering, all the way to big box retail, all the way back into real estate, and now owning a brokerage that in the last 12 months, real estate brokerage that sold over 300 homes, that sold over $100 million worth of homes, and brought in $3.1 million worth of income. Like, it is a crazy trajectory that we've been on, but I promise you, we didn't start anywhere close to that. So tonight is going to be all about you guys getting to hear a little bit about my story and some of the bumps and bruises that I've gone along. And tonight is really all about giving. It's about making sure that we can give to you guys, this wonderful group of REIA. And if you guys all leave here with nothing else, I want you to leave remembering this. And I know Ted said he kind of needed this today. But the only people in life who don't get their goals are the people who stop. And I want you to remember that, because the entire theme of this talk has to do with that specific thing. The reason why this is called the burnout traps and how to avoid those is because we know the only thing that stops you from getting to your goals is if you stop. And when the burnout hits you, because it's absolutely going to, especially if you're trying to build something big, if you're trying to build something big like Ted's talking about with this workshop that they're going to do, big multifamily, getting into the multi-millions, you're going to need to go through some of this burnout. And I know in real estate we love to talk about the millions because it's exciting and it's wonderful and it's sexy. Yes or no? Yes, absolutely it is. So we're going to get into all of that tonight. And like I said, I spent a lot of time in the residential real estate space, so this is my first time giving this talk specifically towards investors. So let's dive right in. And again, I just want to make sure I just know who's in the room. So who in the room considers yourself let's call it a full-time investor? We're talking like 20 real estate transactions a year or more. Anybody doing 20 or more this year? Love that, okay. Who's somewhere in like this part-time range where we are somewhere more than 0, less than 15, somewhere in this part-time range? Okay, cool, love it. And then are there anybody out there that's like looking to get to their first deal, like getting to their first deal this year? Anybody going for their first deal? Yes, hold on, wait. I love this. Can we clap it up for these people who are going for their first deal right now? Seriously, that is amazing. I absolutely love it. And Ted was talking about it being a Christian conference. I didn't even realize that Brandon Turner's was a Christian conference. And it's really exciting. I love clapping for stuff like that because it's biblical. Man, the Lord loves to see the work begin, and we're supposed to celebrate small beginnings. So I'm excited for all of you guys, even if you're in here trying to get to your first deal. That is a big deal, and it should be celebrated. So today, let me just walk through this. We're going to start off a little bit with my story. Here's a little bit about me. I am a self-proclaimed just a kid from Denver. Okay, I grew up, born and raised in Aurora, Colorado. Great parents. They split up when I was very, very young. Military dad. Mom works hard as can be. Okay, so I came from Denver. Ended up in Nebraska, went to Nebraska Wesleyan University down in Lincoln, played college for 4 years. Shout out to Wyatt Simon. He gave a great talk last week. If you didn't catch it, go back on YouTube and catch it. I actually played against that guy in college basketball. I didn't even realize it until he was giving the talk. So awesome. Came to Nebraska for college, and my whole entire life, I wanted to be an engineer. Now, if you can tell by my energy, do you think I fit in with engineers at all? I went to Wesleyan. I got a business and a physics degree because I wanted to be an engineer. And when I got in there, I absolutely hated it. I got the dream internship of my life with an aerospace engineering company. Absolutely hated it. Had to get the heck out of there. And then serendipity starts striking for me. So serendipity strikes in the form of I get back to campus after this internship was miserable. It's the kind of internship where when you look at the clock and you're like, I've been here for 4 hours, but only 6 minutes have gone by, it was that kind of internship. So I get out of it that summer. I come back to campus, and like I said, serendipity, the luck starts to hit me. I walk by the biggest lecture hall that we have in our campus, okay? And to set the scene for you, it is a 250-person lecture hall, but it's not the kind where you walk in the top and you walk down the stairs quietly and nobody sees you come in. Okay, it's the kind of lecture hall where the door is right here where the screen is, the speaker is right here where I am, and you have to walk by him to get to the stairs to walk up to your seat. So I walk by the lecture hall, I didn't even walk in yet, I hear this presentation going on, and I see this big sign that says internship, $20 an hour. I am pumped, so I'm like, you know what, you got my attention, let me peek in here and see what's going on. So I hear this guy giving the presentation, 250-person lecture hall, there is one other person in the room. And you know me, and you're probably yourself, I'm Midwest polite, kind of like a lot of you guys probably are. So when you walk in this room, you can't just walk out now. That's just rude. You got to come in here and sit down and listen to this presentation. So I listen to the presentation, and this guy starts speaking to my spirit. He's talking about high energy. He's talking about you're on your feet. He's talking about building a team. He's talking about if you know how to lead people and be competitive, you can make 6 figures before the time you're 25. And my eyes light up like a Christmas tree. This guy gets it, and now I got an opportunity to work in this place. Okay, so I end up working at Target. One internship later with Target, they send me up to a store in North Omaha, 72nd and Sorensen, and they asked me to run that store. That is the short story of how a Denver kid ends up in Omaha, and this is actually the beginning of one of the darker parts of my life. So today, what I want to walk you through is I want to walk you through some of these burnout traps, some of the things that I experienced along this journey as we were trying to get this thing going. And the great Dale Carnegie says that in order to give a great presentation, you got to tell people what they're going to learn. Then you got to spend some time teaching them. And then we got to come back at the end and make sure we go through everything that we went through. So today, these are the 4 big traps that I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to show you how I went through them in my life. And the beauty is you saw there's all kinds of different experience levels all across this room and places where people are at in their real estate business. And what you're going to find is as you're hearing this, you're going to hear some of your own life in some of these stories. You're going to hear some of the burnout that some of you guys are experiencing in the room right now in some of these stories. And my goal is that I give you not just the awareness to recognize when these things are happening, but I give you some practical takeaways so that when these things show up, you can get through them, you can keep moving forward, you can get a little bit closer to these goals because the only people who don't get to their goals are the people who stop. So, The 4 burnout traps that we're talking about today, the first one is something I call the knowledge gap trap. The knowledge gap trap, say if you go to the doctor and you have a headache, see if you go to a surgeon, he's going to want to cut you open. If you go to the pharmacist, he's going to give you some pills. You go to the PT therapist, they're going to give you a massage, all just trying to fix a headache because they have a different knowledge gap of the way that they think to solve these problems. All right? We're going to get to some of these that could burn you out. We're going to get to the Mirage Trap. This one's my favorite. I love this story. Okay, we're going to get to something I call the hustle trap, a.k.a. the discipline trap. And then last but not least, we're going to get to something we call the illusion of control. This is one that's definitely going to hit you, especially if you're getting to build a bigger business and you're going to have other people inside of your business working with you. Okay, so just a little bit about my story. Graduated from college. This is me at NWU. Proves I'm not making this up. Guys, I'm telling you, this is what I did. And Target, back in the day, I kind of tried to be an engineer, but anybody know who that? Urkel, yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite Halloween costumes ever. All right, so this story starts really right here. We get to my first house. And at this part of the story, Mark Twain has this really great quote. He says, it ain't what you know that gets you in trouble. It's what you think you know that just ain't so. Okay? This is where I really begin to get in trouble. So 2016, I get to Omaha. I'm working for Target. I'm doing really great. And I decide to buy my first house. I'm super pumped because I grew up in this Dave Ramsey household, and when you grow up in a Dave Ramsey household, they say you have to buy a house because it stabilizes your number one bill that you got to pay. It's your housing. Okay, you never have to worry about your housing going up because of rent prices or inflation or all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I bought a house with this scrapping young gentleman right here. He ends up being my business partner later in the story. But this is like I said, one of the darkest parts of my life because I found out at this time for sure that housing would solidify, or getting a house would solidify the biggest bill in your house. And then I find out that escrow companies can make mistakes. That the mortgage company, if they forget to collect enough taxes, they will come see you for the taxes that they didn't collect. Oh, and they're going to come see you for more because they need to have extra next time they collect taxes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this time I'm working for Target. I'm bringing home about $3,600 a month. And at this time, my mortgage payment goes from $1,500 to $2,600 overnight. Okay, and if any of you guys were around in 2008, that's exactly what happened, and I got a real-life, first-hand experience of how this happened to people. So at this time, life is hard, and I'm scrounging, dude. You hear this math, $3,600 a month, and my mortgage alone is $2,600. I got $1,000 for everything else in my life. And 3 months later, I found myself with a mortgage payment due, another mortgage payment coming up in 2 weeks, and I have negative $17 in my bank account. And I'm telling you, when I tell you hope is at its absolute lowest at this moment, because you don't know where this money's going to come from, you don't know where it is, you don't even know how you're going to eat tonight. And like I said, I had negative $17. I can never forget this day because I sat on my floor in my room, the only thing that I owned, this little house, and I sat there and cried for the first time in years, because I just don't do that. We're college athletes, we're tough, we're not supposed to do that, we're macho, okay? The male ego's killed more men than cancer, so I don't cry, but on this day I had to. And it got so bad that, I don't know if you guys know this, you guys remember Target used to have debit cards. They used to have debit cards, because remember, Dave Ramsey household, no credit cards. I had a debit card. And the Target debit card was awesome because if you swiped it at the store, it didn't hit your account for 2 days. So even if you have negative $17, you can go eat, and you know what? It's not going to bounce in my check account until Wednesday, and all that food's going to be gone by then. So we're good. We're going to find a way to eat today. Okay, and I only tell you this because what happens immediately on the back of me coming back from Target getting some food to eat is now I can't go golfing. I can't really go to the bars with my friends. I come home, and there's a book on my shelf that I've never read. My mom gave me this book 10 years prior, and I'd never read it. It's been sitting there the whole time, and I finally decided to pick it up, this little book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And instantly, this book brings me out of my funk because this guy's talking about the rich people don't work for money, and your house is not an asset, and all this stuff, and this and that, and cash flow quadrants, and blah, 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 real estate. And I'm like, man, this is what I've been doing wrong the whole time. I'm telling you, if you've ever been broke and then you see a book that says Rich Dad, the secrets to getting rich that you were never taught, like you go nuts to get this information. So now instantly it pulls me out of my funk. I'm on fire, and I'm actively trying to figure this out. And I end up buying this house from this second book that you see on the screen, Retire Early with Real Estate. Especially if you're early, if you guys, all those of you guys who raise your hand saying you're looking for your first deal, this might be one of the best books you could ever read in the world because Chad Carson, he is the king of talking about a small empire. Okay, maybe the big millions of dollars isn't for everybody, but maybe 4 or 5 units is for you. And he talks about some of the creative ways to get started in real estate, such as what I was going to do with this one, which is the live-in rental. You live in it, and then you rent it out and go buy another one. Or maybe even what this one actually turned into, which was the live-in flip. So this is actually the first real estate investment property that I ever bought. Okay, so this book pulls me out of my funk, and as it pulls me out of my funk, what I realize immediately is the secret to getting out of burnout. And it's this: progress equals happiness. And I'd never heard it just played out that simply before, but understand that for whatever reason, when you're not making progress, when you're not moving forward, you are dying inside. There's a little part of you that knows it. And for some reason, when you're at zero money, zero results, zero action so far, even the step of just making a plan is progress, and that's why New Year's resolutions are so exciting, because it makes you feel alive. Just a little bit of progress. You don't have to get the goal yet, you just have to keep moving forward. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the key to escaping the pits of burnout. That book pulled me out of my burnout in a second, because instantly I now heard there's some progress that I need to make. Okay, so this guy's talking about blah, 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 real estate. And what happens for me is this serendipity kicks back in. For whatever reason, I have this in my professional career. Serendipity kicks back in. So I'm in this funk, I'm reading about this book, and the guy who sold me this house, every single day since I bought this house, this guy's like, you know what? This is pretty easy. You were pretty smooth. You were pretty calm. Maybe you should get into real estate. And I told him, no, I'm not doing it because I got a good job, a Fortune 500 company. I got benefits. My mom is proud of me. I'm good. I'm like the epitome of the gold star standard on the Dave Ramsey show. I don't want any of this real estate stuff. I'm good. Me and Target are good. Okay, and this guy, he hounds me for 2 years. He's like, maybe you should get into real estate. No, I'm good. My mom's proud of me. I'm good. You know, you should get into real estate. No, I'm good. I'm good. But then I've got rich dad Robert Kiyosaki talking in my head. And right after I get done reading this book, I get a call from my real estate agent, Jack, and he says, hey, let's go have drinks. He says, you know what? You'd be a fool to not even look at this real estate. I said, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, because I've been hearing this guy talk about blah, blah, blah real estate. Maybe it's time I come take a look. And that leads me right into real estate. And like I said, my second superpower is I believe I can learn anything. So now I'm going to get into real estate, and I've decided I'm going to figure out everything there is to know about real estate. And I remember very early on in my real estate career, I watched this video, and this guy says, listen, the only thing that allowed me to do all the things that I needed to do to be successful in real estate was I had to burn the boats. Okay, and for those of you guys who don't know the story of burning the boats, the Spanish conquistadors, they came over from Spain into Mexico to invade Mexico and to take over. And what happens is all the soldiers get off the ships, and Captain Cortez, he burns the ships, and he says, if you want to get back to Spain, we're not going home in our boats, we're going home in their boats. The only way out is forward. And I heard this message, and I said, you know what? That's it. That's the key. I'm quitting my job today. I'm getting into real estate. No income, no nothing. I'm burning the boats, and I'm diving in head first. And you know what happens in the first 6 months? I sell 5 houses. I make $21,000, and clearly, I'm a genius. In retrospect, yes, I could have made more money working at McDonald's this entire time, but I promise you this is the happiest I've ever been in my life, because progress equals happiness, and now I'm in the game, the right game. All right, so that first year, like I said, I only made about $21,000. The second year, very, very different. Second year, I learn cold calling. I learn how to prospect to sellers. I figure out how to get 40 listings the second year. I sell 36 homes. I now take home multiple 6 figures, and very, very quickly, we're having a different conversation about real estate. Now, I tell you all of this because as I learned that skill, this is how I discover real estate investing for real. Okay, so this is my very first flip on the screen. Does anybody see what this is over here? You see what these are? Okay, these are proof. I still have these legs in my parents' garage. We bought this house for $30,000 from a guy who had passed away. His best friend helped us get the house through probate. Crazy, crazy ordeal. Took like 7 months to get the whole thing done. Maybe I should have went to a line title. You guys could have helped me get this title cleared much faster than these guys did. Okay, so this is my very first flip, but let me tell you how I discovered flipping. Okay, so I'm a traditional real estate agent. I'm cold calling people. Do you want to buy or sell? Do you want to buy or sell? Do you want to buy or sell? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And I call this guy by the name of Tom Smith. Tom Smith, he lives in Arizona. His mom has a house here. She passed away. He lives in Arizona. I call him. He's like, you know what? I got to sell my mom's house. Why don't you go take a look at it? My brother will let you in, and you tell me what you think. Okay, so I go over there. Tom's mom has, the carpets that are like 6 inches thick, shag carpets. She's got a path through the house around all of her stuff where she used to walk. Her favorite chair still kind of has like her outline in it. This house is in disarray, and I call Tom after this appointment. I'm like, hey, Tom, this thing is not going to sell like this. You need to do this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that, and that. Tom says, well, I don't know, Byron. I live in Arizona. I could hire my brother to do it, but, am I going to pay him out of the house? I don't really trust him to do it. How am I going to get this done? And I'm like, Well, I'll tell you what, Tom, I'll email you the list. When you guys figure out how to get that done, call me back. We'll get out of here. Bye. See you later. Never talk to Tom Smith again. Okay, and look, you can tell who the real investors in the room are because they've got face palm. Like, Byron, what is wrong with you? Why didn't you just call me? I would have helped you with this. Okay, this is the time I didn't know what I didn't know. Remember, I'm a traditional real estate agent, and I think this is the only way to solve this guy's problem. Give him the list, tell him to fix the list, and call me when the list is fixed. This is how I discovered listing. I let so many of these go, genuinely, 2 or 3 times a month, I found people like this. I cannot make this up. I found a 4,000 square foot hoarder house on 40 acres next to a golf course. Guess what we did with it? We listed it and gave it to somebody else who made a killing on the deal. You remember this house, Jack? You remember this house? Unbelievable. 40 acres next to a golf course in Lincoln, Nebraska. Not even in freaking Egypt, okay? This thing was a gold mine, and I walked right by it, had no idea, because I was just doing what I knew, okay? There's a DEI joke in here somewhere. Okay, so this is how I discovered flipping, and I had a coach. I think you just called out his name. Thach Nguyen. Was it a Asian guy? That's fantastic. Okay, so Uncle Thach Nguyen, he is a real estate agent out of Seattle, and this guy, for the first time in my life, taught me about the 70% rule. Now, those of you guys who don't know, if you don't know what the 70% rule is, the 70% rule simply means you take the ARV, what is this house going to be worth once it's all fixed up? 70% of that minus what it's going to take to get it in that condition. That is the price you purchased the house at, and that allows you enough margin to make profits, to make mistakes, to go through the whole thing and never have to worry about it. Uncle Thach taught me this, and it was like seeing in color for the first time. It's like the Wizard of Oz when it goes from black and white to color. I was like, what? You can do what with houses? But of course, at this time, I have, enough money to keep my life going, but I don't have enough money to buy houses. This is when I get introduced to this guy by the name of Brandon Taubert. Does anybody know Brandon in this room? Is he here? All right, well, you have to tell him we were talking about him. Don't tell him what, just tell him we were talking about him. All right, so I get introduced to this guy by the name of Brandon Taubert, and he tells me, he's like, hey, I got this thing called liquid lending, and there's this thing called hard money, and he teaches me all about hard money. And he's like, I'll give you the money to buy the house. I'll even give you the money to fix up the house. All you got to do is make sure it fits inside this nice, neat little 70% rule package. And I was like, oh, my God. And I start thinking about Tom Smith and all the acreages that I let go and all the other stuff that I walk by. I was like, what in the world are we doing? Okay, so I tell you this because this is the introduction to the first trap of burnout, and I call it the knowledge gap trap. Okay, knowledge gap trap looks like this. It ain't what you know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Okay, I knew for sure that the only way to help people was to help them get their house listed and put on the market, and that just ain't the case. So what's the cure for the knowledge gap trap? The first cure is humility. You got to understand in this world, no matter how good you get, no matter how much money you make, no matter how many millions you can say are in your bank account, there's always more for you to learn. Okay, the next cure is you got to discern what are some of these skills that I was missing. I figured out that, one, I didn't have money. I get introduced to a guy like Brandon. I figure out that I don't realize that the rich don't work for money. Jack brings me back into real estate. Okay, you got to understand, you begin to discern what skills you're missing. You start piecing this little thing together, and the only people who don't get their goals are people who stop. So you start piecing this thing together, you start rapidly acquiring the skills, the relationships, the people that you need, you bring these things together, and very, very quickly, this knowledge gap trap that used to get me burnt out because sellers just don't get it. If you are the person, here's the dead giveaway that you're about to hit the knowledge gap trap and you're about to feel burnt out. Everybody around you doesn't get the program, and you're the only one who understands. I'm telling you, you are on the verge of something, and humility can help you get around it. All right, so let me take you to this first flip. Let me take you through this. Let me talk you through this a little bit. I told you I bought this house for $30,000. I made about every mistake you can make. So the day we bought it, we took the contractors over there, and here's my scope of work, okay? Contractor, meet me at the house. I want this done, that done, this done, that done, this done, that done, and this. You got it? How much? Cool. That's my scope of work. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Can you imagine how many things are about to go wrong in this? Okay, everybody who's flipped a house knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I point out all these things to this guy. I leave. I don't come back to the house for 2 weeks. I show up 2 weeks later, and you know how much stuff is done? Zero. Not a single thing has been picked up off the ground. Not a single drop of paint has been put on a wall. Not a single thing is done. The only thing that's left this house is these dang prosthetic legs because I wanted something to take home and tell everybody about. Okay? So I made about every mistake you can make. 2 weeks, no work has gone on. It takes us about 60 days to get this thing done. And then we finally sell it. Shout out to Nikki. No, Nikki's not here. Nikki, great real estate, great investing agent. She ends up being the buyer's agent on this house. And her clients give us an FHA contract. Guess who finds out that FHA? I'm like, oh, I do FHA all the time. We already took care of all the paint. The handrails were good. And guess who learned that FHA has rules that we didn't know about? The real estate agent who's supposed to know everything. Yeah, 90 days. You can't even initiate the purchase agreement for 90 days. Guess whose closing just got pushed back 45 days? Oh, and turns out FHA has another rule. It turns out if you sell the house for more than 100% of what you bought it for, you have to get not one, but 2 appraisals. Yeah, imagine trying to do this during 2021 when appraisers are hard to find. It's that COVID market and everything's selling. You can't even find an appraiser. Guess whose closing got pushed back again? Okay, so I made every mistake. I made absolutely every mistake you can make. And I just want to reinforce this one more time. The only people who don't get to their goals are people who stop. Okay, you don't believe me? Let me prove it to you. Who in their first flip made as many mistakes as I did? Anybody in this room make as many mistakes as I did? Look around the room. Hold on. Keep those hands up high. Really high. Okay, check this out. Watch this. Who still made money on that flip? Anybody still make money? Look at all these hands. All these people still made money. Oh, my God. I love it. That's why I love real estate so much. Because you can make all those mistakes and still make money. The knowledge gap doesn't even have to stop you. Man, I love this house because we bought it for $30,000. We put $45,000 into it. We sold it for $130,000. I'll let you do the math at home, but at this point, I can't be stopped. I'm the smartest person who ever did real estate. I don't care what Donald Trump has done. I'm better than he was, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is also the place where I learned the second burnout trap. It's something we call the Mirage Trap. Because when Brandon taught me all about this hard money thing, he taught me, you know what? I'll give you all the money to buy it, all the money to fix it up. And then I hear about this thing called a BRRRR. You heard about this thing? You buy it, you rehab it, you rent it out, you refinance, then you repeat the whole process. Okay, so you get rentals, and now you have rentals. You are Robert Kiyosaki rich. I'm living in the fast lane. I have infinite returns. And you tell all your friends, and they're like, you're killing it, dude. You're the richest guy I know. And then you run into this thing called the Mirage Trap. And this one's a trap because you're the doer. You took action. You hit the goals. You find out that these goals actually aren't all they're cracked up to be. Because you thought you were the richest guy ever. Now that you bought your first rental, you got no money in it, and that $400 doesn't really make you a rich person overnight. In fact, that $400 doesn't make you anything overnight because you have to spend all that money fixing the dang house every time your renter calls. Or you're like me, and you didn't get a sewer scope when you bought the house, and you find out that the sewer scope stops halfway in the yard because the entire thing is eroded. Cash flow's gone for 3 years. Yeah, how about that? Okay, this is the Mirage Trap. This is something you're going to run into because you're going to get some of your goals. You're going to hit some of these things. You're going to do some of these things that you initially thought were going to make you the happiest person alive, and these things are not going to be what you thought they were going to turn out to be. Again, my example of the BRRRR, and here's how it looks later on in your business. Your business starts growing. All your people tell you you're killing it. You're making all this money. You're doing so well. And inside, you know, I'm more broke now than I was at $50,000 or when I should have been working at McDonald's because I got more salaries to pay. I got a bigger facility. I got financing that I got to worry about. I got these damn interest payments. Brandon, stop calling me about these interest payments. Okay, you have all of these things going on. You got legal trouble now that you got to deal with. And I'm more broke now at $200,000 than I was back at $21,000. Okay, this is the Mirage Trap because you just got everything you thought you wanted, and it's even worse than where you were originally. Okay, this is the kind of thing that can burn you out and make you stop before you ever get there. And ladies and gentlemen, I got good news for you and bad news for you. This is one of the insidious ones. This is one of the ones that's hard because the cure is you just need more time. And I bet you ask any seasoned investor, even the deals that sucked initially, you hold those things for 5 years, and when you go to sell it, you feel like you're the smartest person on earth. I got all this equity in here. The appreciation's happening at the same time. I made the best decision I could ever made, and all those headaches seem to go away. And for whatever reason, just the length of time you doing it will get you everything you're looking for. The only people who don't get their goals are the people who stop. If you sold that house as soon as you found out about the sewer line, all of it goes away. But now what happens is, because I'm intentional, I bought a property with a purpose. I heard a coach say this. He said, have a purpose for every property you purchase. Okay? So I have a purpose for that property, so it doesn't bother me that I lose the cash flow for 3 years, because 20 years from now, you heard Ted say, I just got engaged. 20 years from now, I'm going to have a little kid come up to me and say, hey, I want somebody to pay for college. We hold on to this thing, we sell it, and your college is paid for. Go wherever you want, have fun. Let me know how the vacation is. Okay, it doesn't bother me because I have a purpose, and I'm just not going to stop. I want to make sure that you guys don't do the same thing. Okay, so where do we go from here? Okay, so I kind of wish my story ended there and we could just start you know what? Everybody's got a good message. We're feeling good. We're ready to go out. But there's a couple more burnouts coming. And honestly, I promise you, this is building a 7-figure real estate. We haven't even got to the 7-figure real estate business yet. We haven't even got there. Okay, we're already figuring out all the burnout traps. Okay, so the year after this flip, I'm committed to doing 4 or 5 flips throughout the year. I'm making good money. Things are going well. And the year after this, I am laser focused. I am locked in. I am so clear on what I'm doing. I am following the plan. 120 contacts, 20 appointments, 10 people in my follow-up, 5 listing appointments, 4 listings sold every single month like clockwork. Okay, for those of you guys keeping track at home, that is a listing a week like clockwork. And for the first 12 months of the year, when I tell you I'm locked in, I didn't miss a single week. I had a contract signed every single week, 12 weeks in a row, and I'm finding investment deals. I'm unstoppable. And then I get a feeling like I've never had before. And it's unforgettable for me because this has never happened to me in my life. I woke up, I knew exactly what I had to do. I knew I was good at it. I knew exactly what the results were going to be. And I woke up with 0 motivation to do it and 0 energy to actually go out and just do the simple things that a year later had started to change my life. I couldn't do any of it. I couldn't even get out of bed to do it. Here's what my schedule looked like. I'd work 1 day on, 4 days off. Hold on, wait. Then I'd go 2 days on, and then I'd go 3 days of, you know what, I'll get to it. And at this time, yes, I'm closing deals, but I'm in this terrible, terrible pattern, and I can't even get myself to show up for work 3 days in a row, and I have no idea why. What in the heck is going on at this place? Okay, and every time I've ever been in this in my life, and the reason why, like I said, this is a new feeling for me, is I grew up with a Marine dad. My dad is 16 years in the Marines, Semper Fi. He's the kind of guy that will bark at you if you're in a room if you tell him you're Air Force. I'm telling you, don't tell him. Okay, but I'm disciplined more than most people. And I just remember in this time in my life, I went to reach for that discipline, and I didn't have it. I'm telling you, the first 12 weeks of the year, I'm locked in. Let me show you. I'm going to prove this to you, this little photo. So this photo is a screenshot from our Facebook group. I'm in a Facebook group with a bunch of people, and what we do, we would prospect live on camera right here. I'm on the phone with a seller so that people can see you. And I'm on day 25 in a row of a 30-day challenge, 30-day challenge of making sure you're making these calls every single day. And it is January 25th. Do the math. I'm on day 25, January 25th. When I tell you I was locked in, and then out of nowhere, I just can't do it anymore. The same activities, couldn't do it. And this is where we introduce what I call the hustle trap. This is the third burnout trap, and this is where, how do I explain it? Where you try to use willpower to force yourself to complete some challenging and uncomfortable tasks for a long time. You go to reach for that discipline muscle, and you just can't get yourself to do it. I don't know, we've all experienced this. Maybe you try to diet, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to make myself eat this way for a little bit, and you know this discipline muscle is going to fail at some point. It always does. It always has. So why do we keep trying it this way? Okay, so at this time, I'm in this funk, and I'm still closing deals, like I said, because I got this momentum going. It's helping me get deals, but I'm not creating anything. I'm not creating new opportunities. And my coach, he looked at me point blank, and he asked me a simple question, and the question floored me. It shouldn't have, but it floored me. He said, Byron, is your environment supporting your goals? And it's a simple question, but like I say, it floored me because he asked it to me so matter-of-factly as if it was staring me in the face, and I'm the only one who couldn't see it. Is your environment supporting your goals? And I tell you, the cure for the hustle trap is on the other end of this question. It's not more discipline. It's simply that you might need to go to work on your environment. And I love this example because we were talking about diet already. So you know you're on a diet. You go out to lunch with your friends, and the first 3 people in front of you order a salad. How easy is it for you to order a salad? It's pretty easy. It's not that hard. Everybody else is doing it. But on the other hand, let's say we go to lunch. The first person orders a pizza, and then there's fried chicken, and then there's a gigantic bowl of macaroni and cheese, and you know you're supposed to eat boiled chicken breast and broccoli. What are you going to order in front of all these people? You know dang well you're ordering the mac and cheese. Thank you, and put pulled pork in mine. Come on now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's so much easier to order the salad when you're in a room of people who are ordering the salad. It might not be your discipline that needs help. You might need to go to work on your environment. So the cure is simply to add people and add circumstances that make it easier for you to succeed. And ladies and gentlemen, the serendipity kicked in for me one more time because I got some people around me who started helping me change my environment. Okay, at this time, my business partners came to me and they said, hey, it's time for us to change brokerages. We got to go somewhere else. Okay, and we decided to change brokerages. We end up at KW Elite. You guys have had Jeff Cohen in here to speak before. And I got to give a lot of credit to Jeff Cohen because we had a talk with Jeff Cohen before we went to KW Elite that I, to this day, am eternally grateful for. Jeff Cohen challenged us to actually build a real estate team in the way that we're building it now because he knew that we were capable of much more than just selling houses and making money for ourselves. And I appreciate Jeff for that because he saw that in us, and we took that to heart, and we started this. So it took me, you see this slide, this is not an accident. This is actually just a black slide. It took me 5 months to get out of that abyss, that awful cycle of 1 day on, 3 days off. I can't figure out how to get this thing going. When we switched brokerages, I got a new environment. I got a new mission. I got new stuff that we got to do. We've got to figure out how to build this whole real estate brokerage. We got to build this thing up. We've got to design SOPs, and we've got to hire people. We've got to manage money. We've got to figure out all these things. How do we get other people to do things the way that we were doing it at this level? And you can feel that now, just like when I read the book, I'm back on fire. I have a new mission, renewed strength. I have progress and a new environment. And we got a long way to go in a short time to get there, so let's get moving. My fire comes back, and we are locked in trying to build this thing. So this introduces something that I call the illusion of control, because as we're building this thing, you begin to notice that decision fatigue sets in. And this probably happens for each of you guys, especially as investors, because you have a lot of decisions you have to make. Who are we going to hire? How are we going to do that house? Am I going to buy this deal? How many more things need to line up? Is that price okay? Is that date okay? Can I get this money? Am I actually going to get this done in time before I run out of money? Am I going to get rid of this house that's bleeding me money? There's a million decisions, and what happens is decision fatigue kicks in, and it starts kicking your butt because you are the only one who can make decisions, or you're the only one who's been empowered to make decisions. Nobody else in your organization has been. That's what happened to us. We start this thing, and we start bringing on 7, 10, 12 agents, and decisions start piling up. We start adding staff. We start adding 1, 2 staff, and staff comes to us asking questions, and now we have to make all the decisions. This is a fatigue that will tear you apart in business. It will wear you out. And here's how we solved it. We came up with these things that we call core values. And core values aren't just the fancy motivational posters you put on a wall. Core values for us becomes a decision-making framework that now every decision gets filtered through. And this is the birth of a common remark in our company, which is, Byron, can we do this? Jack, can we do this? Eric, can we do this? It simply says, is what you're asking me in line with the core values, and is it in the budget? As long as you are in those two things, you can do whatever you want. And again, it's not just a wall poster. It really becomes a decision tree for absolutely everything that we do. So this is where the Meraki team built to. Again, this is a team growing now. We're at 27 agents. In the last 12 months, we've done over 300 transactions, and we are on our way wherever Jeff Cohen is at. If you're watching this somewhere, he's the fastest growing real estate team. It took him 6 years to get to 700. We're on your tail, pal, and we are going to walk by you. All right, so I told you I'm competitive. I'm sorry. All right. So these are the Meraki core values. Very, very simple. 7 simple core values, and this is our decision-making framework. So now when people in our organization have to make a decision, we might make the decision, but more importantly, our influence helps make every decision. And if you're building something big, you're trying to build this 7-figure business, you need something like this, a decision-making framework, so that when other people make decisions, they make decisions similar to what you would do, and you'll be amazed at what people can do. Because they add their creativity, they layer their creativity over a simple decision-making framework that makes everything that you do aligned with the company and where we're trying to go, and you won't believe what people come up with. And take tonight, for example, as a decision-making framework. Ted approached me about giving this talk, about talking to the REIA group. And you can ask Ted. I was probably bothering him with this. He asked me, and I took a long time to get back and decide if I was going to do it. Arguably too long. I didn't take so long because it's not because I didn't think I could do it or because it's not my normal audience, it's not my normal conversation. It took me a long time to figure out, what would I even want from doing something like this? What do I get out of it if I go through this whole process of putting together a presentation and giving it to a group? And it took me a long time to go through this, and I was like, I wrote out the speech, I was like, yeah, maybe it could work. And then I look at my core values, and 3 items down, I see one of these that says, it's not really about what I get, it's about relationships over transactions. And this is one of the things that we believe in deeply, and so if I get nothing else from this, and I get to invest in the relationship that I have with Ted, Ted is an incredible human being, and if I get nothing else but to invest in that relationship, tonight's worth the trade. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so these core values, they end up as a decision-making framework. They make everything easier. They make it so other people can make decisions, and they stop you from this illusion control trap. The trap is that you think you have to make all these decisions, that you're the only person that's going to steer this ship in the right direction. And if you just give people some simple guidelines to run through, you'll be amazed at what people will do with you. They'll take your business to heights that you wouldn't believe. And they might be the favorite person in your organization, so be careful of that. I know, I got one right now. Thanks. All right, so, and I say all that to say, relationships over transactions were what brought me here tonight. So here it is, flat out. My name is Byron Thompson II. I was born on March 9th, 1993, and I have absolutely nothing to sell you. Okay, so at the end of this talk, there is no mastermind. There is nothing that I can give you. We don't even pitch. You can join our brokerage if you want. That's not even an option tonight. Okay, I am genuinely just here because my friend Ted asked me. And if I can do anything for him, you know what? I'm going to do it. For me, that's enough. So that's a little bit about who Meraki is. I'm going to just finish with this. What is Meraki? This is the seven-figure business that we built. Okay, we did $3.1 million last year, and we're going to probably increase that by 50 or 60% this year. I'm very, very excited about everything that we're doing, and for everything that Meraki is, we're just at the surface. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of hot takes because I know some of you guys have a real estate license in here. I believe that the day is coming where the big box broker is going to go away. Okay, it's a lot of liability. It's a lot of cost. It is highly difficult for these things to be profitable. Am I right? It's hard for real estate. If you don't believe me, go ask your leaders. It is difficult to make real estate brokerages profitable. So Meraki, we're building this seven-figure real estate business. We're trying not to burn out along the way of doing it because at some point, the real estate business is going to go to a bunch of smaller boutique brokerages, and we're going to be the ones that are prepared and ready to help those smaller boutique brokerages get to the point where they're not just profitable, they're thriving. Okay, and that's where we're headed. So this seven-figure business, I don't talk about all this stuff just because it's fun for me. This is not a presentation of something that we read about. Like, this is just our life. This is what we do, and I go through all this just to say that at the end of the day, we know that progress equals happiness, so we're not stopping at seven figures. We've got a long way to go, and whether right now you're just getting started or you're already at seven figures in your investing business, progress equals happiness. And if you don't keep making progress, you'll be dying inside. And I believe everybody in this room is worth more than that, okay? That's my time, REIA. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate you. I think we've got time for questions if Ted will let me.
Probably one of the best presenters I have ever seen. Like, man, your talking skills are fire. I mean, holy shit. Okay, so I'm extremely embarrassed in how I started this REIA event today just because I watched him and I'm like, I have so much to learn right now. Wow, I'm just blown away. Okay, hey, we have an open mic. If you want to ask Byron a question, ask him a question. Does anybody have anything they want to shout out or say or questions?
Thank you for your presentation. I've adored personal development and growth. I'm 33. I'm right with you, bro. So keep on growing your journey. And I'm the founder of Omaha Heal Center. So Clean We Heal. And so I specialize in cleaning carpets, upholstery, area rugs. I guess my ask is there a principle, like, so when you have some setback, is there a skill that you help yourself to get into a peak performance? So when you have setbacks, what's something you do to help you quickly to get back on your peak enthusiasm? Yeah,
you're talking about just specifically just like on a bad day.
You get knocked down, you can get up again.
I love that. That's a really great question. So for me, man, I remember where I was. Does everybody remember where they were when the pandemic hit? Okay, I remember exactly where I was. I was on my way to the airport, about to get on a plane to go to San Jose to go visit Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins, this is one of the guys who taught me the quickest way to change anything, especially inside of your state, is with your physiology. So for me, whenever things are not going well, I immediately go into something physical. So at certain times of the year, that might mean running, especially this time of the year, it might be I'm out running, but always, it's something physical to move your body, because you can't be running in a full workout mode and be depressed. It's impossible. Your brain just doesn't understand the connection. So for me, I go straight to something physical. Always. It's the quickest, fastest way to rechange my state. Great question.
Hey, Byron. Thanks for coming tonight and sharing your knowledge with us. My name is Rachel Herman. I'm an investor, and I'm also a real estate agent. I was curious, when you were a new agent, how did your day look?
Fantastic question. Okay, so can I tell the first day story? Do you mind if I tell the first day story? Do we have time for a quick story? Okay, cool. All right. So super quick story. My very first day in real estate, you guys know I came from Target, right? So I started working at Target. First day in real estate, I show up and I'm like, I'm going to blow everybody away. I'm going to show up at 7 a.m. and I'm going to impress everybody. Okay, so I show up at 7 a.m., and I'm waiting for everybody to show up, and 7 a.m., nobody's there. I'm like, it's perfect. I'm setting up my laptop. I'm going to be ready. They're not even going to know that I'm in here. I'm not even going to turn on the lights. I'm going to surprise everybody. It's going to be great. Okay, so 7 a.m., I get there. At 10 o'clock, nobody showed up yet, and you're starting to get a little worried. But you know what? They know it's my first day. They're coming. It's fine. 12 o'clock rolls around. Nobody shows up. 2 p.m. rolls around, still nobody in the office. I'm like, what the heck happened? Did they forget that this was my first day? Like, they had to have forgot, because I'm coming from Target, right? It's 90-day onboarding, and there's an HR person there, and everybody's going to welcome you, and there's probably balloons and a cake in the conference room. No, none of that, okay? So when I started, there was absolutely none of that, and if I'm honest, this is one of the reasons why we started Meraki. Is because we know that a lot of real estate agents didn't have this, and they didn't have any sort of structure, and we believed that if agents just knew what to do, half of them would already be doing better, if they just knew what to do, okay? And then, if the other half who knew what to do but still weren't doing it, if they could just be around other people who were doing it, the other half of those people would probably be more successful, and instantly our industry is tremendously better. So, long-winded way to answer your question, but in the beginning, I had absolutely no schedule. I didn't know what to do at all, okay? And in that second year when I figured things out, when I got up to 40 listings, I nailed down a schedule, and it was really, really simple. It works like this, okay? You start off your day practicing whatever skills it is that you do. So for me, that was prospecting direct to sellers, and I would role play, literally, I would call a guy in West Tennessee every single day, and we would role play what these conversations sound like talking to sellers. We would spend 30 minutes doing that. We would start at 8 o'clock in the morning, 30 minutes of role play, and from 8:30 to 12, I would be on the phone calling, talking to sellers, okay? And again, this was mine coming from Denver and working in a little retail box. I don't have a big circle of friends and family in Omaha that are gonna give me business, so I had to go out and find cold leads. So for me, it was 8:30 to noon, directly calling sellers and trying to find opportunities, okay? After noon, you've spent a lot of time now pouring into other people, so you have to take a lunch break at noon, walk away from real estate, put your phone down, separate a little bit. At 1 o'clock, you come back, and this is the time that I did all my emails, everything from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, only in that time. Anybody ever heard of Parkinson's Law in here? Parkinson's Law, it's a simple thing. It'll make sense to everybody in the room. It simply says work expands to fill the container that you give it. So if you give yourself 3 hours to do social media, how long is it going to take you to check your social media? Yeah, you'll be doing it all day, yeah. But if the book report's due on Friday, it's not going to take you a month. You'll have it done by Friday, okay? So when you come back from lunch, you have 1 hour to do all of emails, contracts, calling people back, calling back lenders, calling title companies, setting up appointments. All that happens in 1 hour, because if you give yourself an hour, it only takes an hour. And then from 2 to 5, you don't have to schedule what you do the rest of the day, because if you did your job in the morning, you're busy going on appointments the entire rest of the day. So in a nutshell, that's the entire schedule. That's how it works. And as a real estate agent or an investor, this little frame works for absolutely everybody. You are, for the rest of your career, either on an appointment or you're looking for one. Everything else is a waste of time. So that was what I would give you for my schedule and how we ended up arriving at that lovely place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when the world's on fire, what's your advice on staying mentally sharp?
When the world's on fire, what is your advice?
How do you stay mentally sharp? Yeah.
That's so great. Okay, so here's where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go back to our core values. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check out our core values. One of our core values is something that we call always be growing. Okay, and the cool thing about if you're always growing, today's the dumbest you're ever going to be. Think about that. Today is the dumbest that you are ever going to be, and if it is true that even if the world's on fire, progress equals happiness. If you learn something today, today's a really, really good day. Okay, so that's my simple answer for that, and I'm always growing, so progress is happiness.